Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to welcome everybody to my channel, Abrahamic Success. And I'll be addressing a topic that we've been discussing for the last three videos as part of Work Keep People Poor. The topic I'll be talking about today is the lies that poor people tell themselves. You know? And these lies, they even teach it to their children. And one of the lies, poor people tell themselves is that they cannot give because they are poor or they are financially down. And when I think of this topic, I often think about to, encourage people to stop telling themselves these lies. Because they often tell themselves that they will start giving when they have money or when they have so much money. Remember, we're talking about what makes people poor and how, poor people think. Often, most people that we call poor, that we're talking about, they think in terms of money alone. Everything they think about is about money. So we consider them that they are poor because they can't see other opportunities. So in terms of giving that we're discussing today, this is really an encouragement because it's something that I've practiced, that I've seen people practice when they don't have nothing, and it keep increasing them. These people keep increasing. So giving is something that you can do even when you don't have money. Giving itself on itself, and I'm not talking about giving to one particular person all the time. Giving itself is a sign of blessing on your life. But don't restrict giving to just money alone. You can always give when you are still economically poor. So whenever you are thinking of those people that we're talking about, the financially poor people, I would like to encourage people to stop limiting yourself, limiting your self-worth to just money. Never lock your giving ability to just money. That's a poor mindset. That's why every time you hear about people talk about poverty or it's a mindset. This is one of the things they talk about. Most people that are poor, they think in terms of money. And there's always opportunity in this world. Everybody has some kind of opportunity to give. But the problem with the poor-minded people is that they don't see it that way. They don't take advantage of all this opportunity that we're talking about, and that's the problem. You have to find a way to take advantage of those opportunities that come your way when it comes to giving. So they tell themselves that they can only give when they are rich, when they have money, but not knowing they are actually rich. So the first thing is to start looking for those opportunities to give. And when you have those opportunities arise, you should start giving. It's as simple as that. You should start giving no matter what your circumstances are. That's why when you hear every time they say poverty is a mindset, it's not lack of money alone. This is what they are talking about. Giving should be a lifestyle for everyone. Nobody has to force anyone. Nobody has to force us to give. So don't wait until when your bishop, pastor, imam, or even babalawo will force you to give. It has to be a lifestyle. And that's the key thing today. Most people confuse money with success. They confuse money with wealth, right? Money is only a small derivative of success and wealth. It's only a small portion. So the number one principle of giver is they think outside the box when in terms of giving. I remember a story I was watching. Steve Wozniak, one of the co-founders of Apple, he was sharing this story. And this story hit me, right? When they started this company, he and Steve Jobs, and they got to a point where they were sharing stocks in the company. They didn't have enough money at that time, but they knew, okay, they were dividing the company, right? So when they went public, Steve Wozniak thought about some of the people that worked for him, and he didn't have money to give them, but he thought it was necessary to give something to them. So he gave some of his stocks to those people. And we're talking about, maybe college student, young folks. We're talking about young folks. He thought outside the box and he gave some of his stocks out. So imagine how those people will be rich today, how rich they will be today if they are still with the company. So this is one of the things, the first principle I'm talking about. You have to think outside the box. Whatever you have, you can give. You always have something with you, no matter what. And it doesn't have to be money. There's always something that you have that others might need, that others need. Maybe used clothes, shoes, bags, toys, anything. Just think about it. Rather than trying to sell them for like 5 pennies or $5, you can give them to others that need them. You can always find someone or someone else that need these things. So if those things are maybe in your house, they're collecting dust, and you've left them there for like maybe 2-3 years, maybe it's time to think about you give them to somebody else. Probably you don't need them. And what I'm encouraging people, this is some of the principles I learned when I was young and little, growing up. Not everything should be sold for a penny. And I'm sure that there are some people, they really need that money to do something. So they will have to sell some of the things that I already mentioned that we talked about. But a rich-minded person, a person that is not poverty-minded, consider that anything around him can be given out. And some of they're thinking, the rich-minded person that I'm talking about, they think outside the box, like they say, health is wealth. And when they think like this, with this kind of mindset, they will give their time away. They will go to maybe hospital. They might, go volunteer their time and make some people, happy. They give back their time. That's why this thinking outside the box is one of the most important principles when it comes to giving. Most poor-minded people they will tell you like, oh, we can't give because I have 5 kids to feed, I have 10 kids to feed, so I can't give. I'm broke. When a stranger comes to their house, it gets to the point that they even hide some food under the bed. They will tell you all kind of excuses why they can't give to a charity organization, they can't give to a church, they can't give to somebody that is in need. But a giver, somebody with a giving mindset, they don't give because they don't just think about money, and they don't give because somebody tells them to do so. They give just because they know there's something with them they can give. And when they give, they don't expect anything in return. That's one of the key principles. They give because it's in their heart to do so. So I often hear, most people will be like, oh, we're asking people to give and they're not giving because, and some people will make excuses, oh, I'm not giving because I don't make enough, And I have seen people in my, little lifetime that I've spent here, even in Nigeria or in America, givers, they give, they keep increasing. It doesn't decrease them. Because the same thing will happen when they have money. They will start giving. In Africa, I'm sure some of you, read the Bible a lot. You know the Bible. Check the exploit of Abraham. Abraham is a dire giver. And I'm not talking about some of the things they've told you, right? When you check the book, you'll see that right from even some of the things that you read, right? You can check like he has a giving lifestyle. His giving lifestyle is very unique. he had a nephew who was an orphan. He took the nephew to his house and started training him up. He even gave to the point that, he gave to angels. When he had issue with his nephew, he didn't say, "Oh, you just said, take those things and go your own way." That's somebody who let things go, and he considers other. He consider other people. So that's one of the key things that givers do. It's their lifestyle. They don't expect anything in return, and they do it willingly. They do it freely. They feed strangers. When stranger comes, that's not the time to keep your food under the bed. So this is one of the things you rich people think about. When I was growing up in Africa, I had a gentleman that I learned some of these things from. He had a company, and in his company, some of his employees, when they were about to graduate, leaving the company to go start their own business, he will give them something to start up with. He would not let them go empty-handed. He gave, starting from giving even cars, buses, other kind of things, up to the point that this gentleman gave a house, an entire house to people. And that's the kind of people you have to learn from. Don't think you have to give to one establishment, just one establishment, because they promise you something. That's not it, right? And a lot of people, they withhold too much. They withhold more than is required. And the Bible says it tends to lead to poverty. When you withhold more than, there was a time I knew somebody that he had a car. He has to wash his car every morning, a nice car, wash it every morning, and he will go clean it, and he will go on the bus to work every day for a long time. Up to the point that he didn't even know what to do with his car. He would tell it until the car broke down. He did not use it. He would start it in the morning, clean it for years. Until the car broke down, he had to sell it in parts. That car could have been used for something else. So this is how poor people think. They think they have to withhold more. They have to withhold more. So you have to start learning how to give little by little, starting from maybe things that you use that you don't need anymore. Not everything. You don't have to sell everything in pennies. You can give those things out. So there's somebody that gives freely. They keep increasing. But there is somebody else that withhold much more than they need. It stifles their prosperity. It leads to poverty. So start learning how to give little by little. Don't wait until you have so much money. And don't wait until somebody tells you to do so. It's as simple as that. And that's how you keep increasing. Step by step, you keep going up until the sky is the limit. I hope this will help us in order to start, reorganizing, reshaping our life, to start learning how to give. No matter where you are, you can do it. I was sharing something the other time. I was talking to a friend, like, every time I bought a car personally, right, and I bought it for myself. I used to, do a car business, right? That's not what I'm talking about. But personally, my cars that I bought for myself, that I said I was going to use it for 5 years, I've never sold any one of them. Every time I finished using them, I give them out. But the ones I bought for my business, I sold it for profit. That's it. So, but I made it a thing when I studied from this rich-minded man that he started giving things like that. So I said I could do the same thing, and it has now stopped increasing us. So I hope You all learn from this. You start, organizing your life. You start telling yourself and your children they can give. They don't have to wait until they are rich. They have a lot of money. The reason why you are not giving is not because you don't make enough. The reason why you are not giving, somebody has to tell you or force you or use some gimmicks to tell you, because you are not a giver already. You are not. You don't think to, give things that you feel like somebody else need to them. You first of all think about, when you've used the shoes for 10 years, you want to sell it for $5. So this kind of mentality of I have to get money from everything, everything is money, it stifles your prosperity. Because when you start chasing that thing, most people that chase those things, they don't have it because they don't think outside. And that's one of the problems. So the reason why you are not giving to a pastor or to a charity organization or whatever is not because you don't make enough. It's because you don't give. So that money becomes your God. It becomes the biggest thing in your life because you have to sell. I remember there was a time when we raised our baby, one of our babies, to a point that we didn't need all their goods anymore, right? All the things that the baby was using. Instead of selling them, we found somebody that was asking, maybe on social media, that said, hey, we gave them out. We gave those things out. But guess what? We kept increasing. A rich person who has a small job and people are working for him, a rich person, the person that thinks rich, and that person that works for him or her is about to leave the job, they don't leave empty. That's how we start. They would not allow them, they would not allow them to leave empty. So this is what this guy started with. Apart from when you work for him, he would give you something when you are leaving. You don't leave empty. The next thing he did was he started with, okay, when you are a worker for me, when you need a car, I'm going to give you the ones that I've used before I buy another one. Then later in life, he started buying cars for all his workers. Just an individual. This is not even a company. He started buying cars for his workers that needed it, and they will be paying in installment. But guess what? When any worker was leaving his company for, after working for like 5 years, and they wanted to continue that same job, he will give them a boss to be able to do that business, because that business mainly they use buses and trailers. This is the next level the guy was doing. I saw it with my eyes. I said, this is the kind of person that is called a rich and wealthy man. But it didn't start like with money. The next level, the first person that I saw that gave a house to people. And I learned from this gentleman, and I found out like one of the things the Bible is talking about is in Proverbs, right? When you withhold much more that is required, right? To do anything, when you withhold it, you withhold too much, it tends to lead to your poverty. That's what leads to your being poor, because you think you have to hold on to everything. When something needs to be given out, you have to give out and still get something. You are withholding more than is needed. That's how the Bible describes it. So this guy was not even maybe a very, very pious guy, a person, but he made sure he was operating in this principle. And I studied this guy. I found out like, this makes sense. I learned it from a lot of people in my lifetime. And guess what? Every time I see them, they have gotten to the next level of wealth, prosperity, and everything. So this is one of the biggest things that you have to learn. Everybody has to learn it. When you go to somebody's house, an adult, old people, like widows, you have to learn to not go there empty-handed. Take something. That's how you start. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be money. That's the lifestyle of a rich person, a giver. All right, that's the lifestyle. It's as simple as that. So this is how you know someone is not a poor person, even though you might not have what you all think, right? Economically, that money that everybody thinks about, but in mindset, his mindset is a giver. And this is one of the greatest principles of God. I will handle this. Don't give because you are told to do so. You give willingly. You find something to give somebody. And sometimes most people elevate it to the next level of the person that comes to visit them does not have to need that thing. They give no matter what. If somebody comes to your house the first time, a stranger, do not let them leave without offering them anything. Do not. That's one of the principles. Start learning to give someone that does not owe you anything and you are not expecting anything from them. That's the principle. Most people die poor today because, and that's why they get brainwashed by, you give, you have to, when you give, that's when you get from God or something like that. That's why it's not working for you, because you are not giving willingly. All right? So start learning to give to somebody that does not, owe you anything, and you are not expecting anything back in return. So it's a very simple logic, right? Some might argue, some might wink their nose and say, hey, why do I have to do it this way? Why, you can wink your nose all you want. That's where you remain where you are. And what I'm telling you today, I'm not one of those, I'm not a YouTuber, all right? I'm just sharing this with some of my friends, right? I'm not one of those that sit in my basement, poor, and telling you to do something that I have not done in my life. Everything that I'm telling you, and I've done them, and they work. And they work for most people that I've seen too. Even in the Bible, God talks about it. When you harvest all your crop, don't forget the poor. Don't scrape everything. That's what he said. Don't scrape everything. Leave it for the poor. Most people don't see those things. The only thing they see, they want to give to God so that they can take something. No. If you don't know how, and he even said it, if you lend to the poor. When you lend to somebody, say you lend to me. When you lend to him, you get the returns back. That's the only time you get returns back, because it's a lending. The other kind of principle that you lend, it's not lending. All right? The only time you get back, you lend to the ones that are poor, maybe not by their own doing. And we'll talk about the various meanings of poor, categories. Okay? Let's take categories of poor. All right? So don't think like a poor man that says, I have to have this to give this. No, you do not. Because the Bible says there is one that freely gives, right? And there is one that withholds more than is needed, more than is required. They become poor. It's as simple as that. Right? I hope this will help some of my friends. There's more to talk about. We'll continue next week, but I want you to understand. Start learning how to give whatever you have. Especially when you find somebody, you're walking on the street, you see somebody, who's, asking for, help with food, with, money. Don't say, they will do something. Give it to them, because you are not in that position. So for the reason why you are not in that position is you are better off. This is how you maintain a prosperity, a great mindset, rather than thinking like those poor people who think all they can give and all they can gain is money to become this level of riches and wealth that we're talking about. I hope this will help you. I hope you start putting some of these things into your daily lives. We start operating with this, and from then on, you start growing with it and become a rich mindset, rather than telling your children the same thing, telling your children all this lie that everything that makes somebody rich is money, and they can only give when they have money. Thank you so much. I hope this video will help you. Thank you.